Hello everyone, Calvinator here and welcome to another video about MFL. On Tuesday we had an amazing announcement, a very big announcement with a very cool video too, and that is that Season 1 is going to start on November the 5th. Finally, the clock is going to start ticking and we will start the real game after playing 8 alpha seasons and a breakaway league. In this video I want to kind of break down what it's all about, what are the 6 things you really need to know about Season 1, what are, let's say, the 6 things that are going to change the game fundamentally. So these are the Season 1 essentials I want to talk about, which are play progression, promotion relegation, aging and retirement, increased rewards, the player development center and contract clauses. So stay tuned, I'm going to explain each one of them. The basics, if you want to know way more details, go to blog.mfl.com and there's amazing blog posts written by Lucas about all of those aspects. I'm making this video also because I know some of you are not always reading this, and it's good to have, let's say, a short summary by me of all of the, let's say, things you really need to know, the essentials, the basics. But if you want more details, go read those blogs. Also, the white paper has been updated, by the way. So I think the biggest change and the thing that's gonna shake up most things is promotion and relegation. At the end of Season 1, 3 teams from each league, that's the maximum, will promote to another league possibly, and a maximum of 4 will relegate to a division below them. So there are 12 teams in the league, and then at the end of Season 1, the first teams are going to move up a division or relegate to a lower division. So that is a really massive change. So if you have now an iron team, at the end of Season 1, that might become a bronze team. And if you now have a silver team, at the end of Season 1, that could unfortunately turn into a bronze team also. So massive things that will really change the way we deal with clubs and the market and everything. One good thing to know is that to make sure that there are fair leagues, there will be a pot system. From those 12 teams, 3 will come from the highest spot, 3 from the second pot, 3 from the third, and 3 from the fourth pot. And in the pots, you will see first the strongest team to the weakest teams based on the 18 best players, the overall of the best 18 players from each team. So, long story short, there is like different tiers of teams to make sure that there's not, let's say, 8 super stacked teams in one league. That will be impossible. It will be fair. So it's going to also be a bit more balanced who's going to promote and relegate. And this should be fair then. How does promotion work? The most easy way to promote, the most straightforward way, is just to become a champion and win the league. So all champions will automatically be promoted. If you end the second place, there will be a playoff against another second place teams from another, let's say, Iron Division. Let's say you play in the Iron Division and you end second. You will play against another Iron team who ended second. You play against each other. The winner also goes to the Bronze League, also gets promoted. And if you are in the third spot, there's also a longer way to promote. So you first have to battle it out with another third place team. You play against the loser of the second place playoff. The winner then plays a playoff match against the 9th from the league above. And then if you win those 3 matches, you also get promoted. So the third place still has a chance, but it's a long way. Then how does relegation work? So the bottom 3 teams are relegated directly. So if you end 10th, 11th, or 12th spot on your league, there's straight relegation. Because of the pyramid system, more teams relegate. Let's say it's easier, let's say, to relegate than to promote. The team in the 9th spot plays this playoff I just talked about. So if you're 9th, there's still a chance you stay in your division and don't relegate. And now a really, really important thing is that if you don't register, if you don't sign up for the league and you have a license or a club and you don't participate, this license or club gets auto-relegated. So really important for some inactive wallets that your assets, your club is gonna lose value is gonna get auto-relegated to ice if you don't do anything within the coming seasons. Then player progression. So we already know this feature, but in season 1 it's really gonna start. Players will progress, they will get better. How are they gonna progress? Each player has hidden stats. They have a potential and a prime age. So potential is how good can they be with, if let's say in the best circumstances, and the prime age is when do they kind of reach their top and won't they progress anymore. These things are totally different for each player, and also even if those things are the same, you can progress differently. Each player has a unique progression path. Sometimes from one level to another you need more XP than from another level. So each player unique, don't compare your players to others. How do players progress? 2 ways. You can gain XP in training and you can gain XP in matches, and if you reach a certain level of XP you'll go up. Let's say your attributes can get better, will evolve, which will also make the overall go up. So each attribute can evolve, but if you're, for example, a striker, it will primarily be the shooting, the dribbling, the things that can kind of drive your primary position. It would be weird if, for a striker, the defending goes up a lot. So the emphasis is on the primary position attributes. Now, what can slow it down? There is a talent gap. So if you are a very good player, or you have a very good player, a legendary striker, for example, and you play him in a very low division, this is not gonna help progression at all. It's I don't think he will progress at all, because if you play with significantly worse players, it will slow down, and the bigger the talent gap, the slower it goes. Also, aging slows progression down. So the older a player gets, the slower you progress, and you have this prime age, what I said, after which you barely progress anymore. Then also the higher the overall is of the player, the higher the rarity, also the harder it is to progress. So if you have, let's say, a 94 legendary, it is very hard to go up one level, while if you have a common player who's 45, it should be fairly easy. Here you can see an example and what is like of a page with progression already in play. And what is really nice is that you have an observations area in a player profile that kind of tells you what you should do. So here you can see that Dirk Klaassen, our legend, it says he would benefit from facing stronger oppositions. So it indicates there is a talent gap. He is losing XP because he plays against worse players in the training and in the matches. Well, here it says in the matches. So he's not progressing as much as he could. So it's good that managers get this message. Then another very new feature that was announced on Tuesday is the Development Center. So new season 1 feature. So if you have very kind of bad players and no one wants to play them, you don't want to play them, they don't get signed, you can send them to the development center where they can still gain XP and still progress. So you're not wasting their potential. You have to buy a development pass for this with MFL, and now in the breakaway wheel, a lot of you have won free passes which you can use on some players to let them be there in their forward season and they can still progress. It's going to look a little bit like this. So you put your player there, you can have this bar, and you see how much he's gaining. So you can kind of track his development in this development center. Then aging and retirement. So the clock starts ticking, players are progressing, but players are also getting older, of course. And what is also new is that when players get older, at a certain point, they are going to retire. And this is based on a new hidden stat called longevity. Each player has a value between 0 and 10 that kind of decides when they are going to retire. So players can retire between 32 and 42. So if the longevity value is 0, your player is going to retire at 32. If it's 10, at 42, etc. I think the mean is between 36 and 38, or 35 and 37. So most players won't retire at 32, but if you're unlucky, it can happen. And what is really cool is that there will be retirement signs. So 3 years before, you might notice that this player, after one match, he already loses 8% of his energy or 10%. And you're like, hey, he's losing, he's getting way more easy, tired, fatigued, and also he recovers slower. If you notice this, you might already know, okay, within 3 years, he's probably going to retire, so I might need to start looking for a replacement. What about after retirement? So players can sign new contracts, of course. They are retired. They're not gonna be able to play in the game anymore. So for now, unfortunately, there's no utility for retired players. Although, yeah, it's still gonna take a minimum 4 seasons before the first starts retiring. Because the maximum age is now 28, minimum retirement 32. So within 4 seasons, that is like 4 or 5 months. So in the coming half a year, I don't think anyone is going to retire, but for now there's also no utility. Although in the future, maybe your retired players can become staff members, like a striker, trainer, goalie, goalkeeper trainer. Maybe there will be new leagues where you can use your all-stars from your agency to play in like an all-star team. Many different options. Or just collect them. Maybe you want to collect your MFL legends, your MFL superstars, and from other players. Or maybe from one country. Of course, another option. Then contract clauses. So the contracts all are gonna get reset, and there will be new types of contracts for season 1. Why is that? Because of player progression. You might want to reward agents who play your players more. This announcement has not been out yet, so very soon we know the details about this. But what I think is likely is that the more an agent or manager plays your player, let's say then they pay less rev share. So let's say you say 4% rev share for, let's say, if you want to loan this player, but if you play him 70% of the time, it drops to 3%. So I think it will be something like this, but we don't know for sure yet. And then finally, increased rewards. Everyone's waiting for this message. It's supposed to be announced also next week. We don't really know, other than there will be a significant increase. This is of course also needed because your players are going to retire, so you need to be able to replace them and buy them in the store. So it needs to get kind of a sustainable environment where players retire, but you can get younger ones, new ones in the store with your earnings. So rewards will be increased significantly. Some people say 5 times 5, some people say times 7, some even times 10. We don't know, so stay tuned for that message. Finally, important dates. Grab your calendars, you need to write this down. So November 5th is when the transfer window opens and when registrations also open. Then November 6th is a pack drop, so you could get some new players in the drop. And then almost a week later, November 13th, is when the leagues start. So again, these matches are going to be super important. If you don't start out well, you might already start fearing for relegation. And then the cups are going to start on November the 16th. Also good to know, the good thing now is, or the good thing, what's going to change is that the cups don't really matter in terms of relegation promotion. So maybe people are going to prioritize leagues. This is really going to be important. All right, if you are not part of MFL yet, which I don't think if you're watching this whole video, but I put my referral link in the description. If you use it, you can get a common play for free if you spend $18 on packs. For now, I want to thank you for watching this video. Please let me know what you think about Season 1 and the new features in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know. Join the Discord, link is also in the description. Read also again the blog, the Medium posts, to know exactly in detail what all these changes are going to be about. Again, thank you for watching and see you next time.